people is all that's going to be saved from the earth. But then Jesus looked at this 144,000, or John did, so he got this vision in Revelation, and he looked again above that number, and what did he say? He said, there is a number that no man can number. You're not in that number of the 144,000 tonight, but thank God you are in a greater number. You're in a number that no man can number, and that is the ones that are bought and purchased through the blood of Jesus Christ. Now we know that Jesus was here on earth. We never saw him, but we know it. We know that he ascended back to heaven, and he's going to come back again. It's foolish to try to figure out when Jesus is coming back. It's foolish to even prophesy anyways near when Jesus is coming back, because God himself is the only one that knows when his blessed Son will come back to gather up the church. And all of these things of these four horsemen, they have nothing to do with the day, except they warn us of a time to come. And when these four horsemen appear in the flesh, and when they come with a rider. Now you understand these horsemen is all it talks about now. But one day all of these horses will come and they'll have a rider. The white horse will have a rider which will go out and deceive the earth. And the spirit of the Antichrist is deceiving the very church of the living God today. We're deceiving the church. Why are there empty seats here tonight when they used to be full? It's because the Antichrist is deceiving the very elect. And he said, unless the days be shortened for the elect's sake, then there would be nobody saved. No flesh would be saved. But I thank God tonight, the faithful, as few as it might become, as few as it might dwindle down to, Jesus said, I will find faith when I come back again on the face of the earth. Now, this horse was a white horse, to briefly say. He was the Antichrist. And then came the red horse, which could not be here without the white horse. Because first, the white horse had to deceive the minds of people like Adolf Hitler and all the other rulers and dictators of the world, Putin and all of those. And I'm not sure that we don't have some creeping in the leaders of our own nation, inviting people in that we don't know, inviting people in that tell us before they come. We have got people infiltrated in the people coming from Syria. They tell us that, but yet we want to open up our borders and welcome thousands of them in. You know, it's just like the Trojan horse. We just seemingly have to fall in love with evil nowadays. We have to embrace it, and we almost seem like that we're just an evil-minded nation, evil-minded people, and it's spread even into the countryside where it used to didn't hardly exist. But we're being taken over by evil thoughts and evil people. And that's why there's the red horse. The red horse, he's the cause of war. Now, look at the wars and the trouble they've caused. Look at the wars that have come. If you lived through World War II, it was a horrible time, even for people at home, but a time you can't describe for the people that were in the war. If you had families there like I did and my wife did, you know the anxieties, you know the rationing where you could hardly get food and so on. The black horse, the spirit of the black horse, came to America during World War II. Not the black horse himself, but he brought it down to where you couldn't get a pound of sugar unless you had a coupon. Some folks says it's a mark of the beast. No, it wasn't the mark of the beast. It was the spirit of the black horse, because the red horse was at war. And what follows war? Every war that ever came, it was followed by famine. And that's what the black horse represents, is famine. In the Civil War, Sherman went from Flemingsburg. He stole a train in Flemingsburg, Kentucky, and he went all the way to the coast of Georgia, and he went killing and burning everywhere he went. He would go to a home, and he would clean out their smokehouses. He would take all their meat, all their flour, all their meal, all the food that they had, and then he would burn their house, kill the rest of the cattle, and go on. They called it the earth scorching. And so that's what happened. Now that's happened under the spirit of the black horse and the red horse. Can you imagine in World War II now, you go to gas station, you fill up your car, you've got a restaurant everywhere you look. You cannot hardly look and not see a restaurant somewhere. But in World War II, there was hardly such thing as a restaurant. And if there was, I think there's one in Flemingsburg, maybe two. They didn't have ham sandwiches. They didn't have hamburger. They didn't have meat of any kind, because meat could not be sold to the public unless you raised it on your farm. There was no meat to be bought in the restaurants. That's what the black horse, the spirit of the black horse, has done. But now, when the tribulation comes, after Jesus comes back, gathers up the church, and takes us home, we won't be here. Now, what number do we want to be in? Do we want to be in that number that's left behind to go through this 7 years of tribulation? This 7 years of not only the spirit of all these horses, but the real thing itself. War will be on the red horse when he has his rider. Blood will flow bridle deep to a horse in the streets of Israel. It will flow bridle deep. Now, if you ever noticed, or if you ever thought, when the Bible was written, it talked about the world. But when Paul wrote the Bible, and Luke wrote the Bible, and when Matthew wrote the Bible, he did not know about the United States, did not know about Alaska and all these other places. All they knew was about Asia and some of the countries there that they had traveled and been. Do you know Jesus himself never traveled more than 200 miles from away from home while he was here? But yet he told us about things that men had never seen or never known anything about. He told us what would happen to the world. And we have become a part of the world. That did not exist in their mind. All they knew was Israel and Syria and Iran, which was Persia, and around there. That's all they knew. But now the whole world has been exposed. Not too long ago, they found the tribe of people, it's about 12 years ago or so, maybe a little longer, that had never seen another person outside their tribe. They wore no clothes. They lived like animals, sort of. They had a little civilization, but not much. And they think that was the last settlement on earth that hadn't been discovered. And maybe it was, or maybe it wasn't. But you see now, the world has come down till you can travel to the uttermost part of the world quicker than it took Jesus to walk or to ride a donkey from to where he went. And so, look how that has come down now. We're not isolated anymore. We can have a bomb dropped on us in just a matter of hours or less. The other day, North Korea sent a missile into those 600 miles into the Sea of Japan, which is controlled by Japan, trying to muddle up the waters and get war started. That's the spirit of the red horse. And believe me, the spirit of the red horse will be on the earth again, probably before we leave. I hope not, but maybe so. It may not be in our country, but it's everywhere now. Killings everywhere. You know, you're just as dead in a shooting at a mall as you are in battle. You're just as dead as a shooting in the mall as you are when an atomic bomb drops on you. You see, it brings death. It brings death. Now, the black horse